onefootflipper.
Hi, Paige here, the 1 Foot Flipper. How's everybody doing? I'm doing pretty good myself. Those few of you who care about my health are following. I got my lab results back, and my lab results are actually excellent. I don't even have high cholesterol. The only thing that was bad was there's some liver enzyme was off a little bit, and they recommended that I reduce alcohol consumption or stop drinking, but I had actually already stopped drinking for calorie reasons a few weeks ago, so hopefully that'll just even itself out, and that I'll be okay soon. Still going to work on the weight things and everything else, but let's not talk about me. Let's talk about 8 reasons why you might just want to quit selling on eBay, perhaps even today. Now, I'm not going to go into the whiny reasons people might want to quit eBay. Oh, the fees are too high, or they're charging promoted listings on taxes. Oh no, whatever I do, they're hiding my listings and charging promoted listings on taxes, and I'm not on the good server, and no one's buying my Quigley Down Under DVD. They're only buying the ones that are $3.50 shipped, and now I'm going to quit after 78 years of being a power seller. No, not going to talk about any of that stuff. I'm going to talk about actual reasons. Reason 1. You're just doing better on another platform already. And that's absolutely possible. While I think eBay is the best overall platform for an everything seller, you might be doing better somewhere else. Some people have mastered Amazon and literally just managed to go out and buy things at the store and send them to Amazon FBA, and Amazon takes care of all of it. And those people who master that can probably make a lot more money than eBay sellers can. I've never really looked into it. That sort of thing would be too difficult for me with my physical limitations, but it's certainly a possibility. Or maybe somehow you're just killing it on Mercari. Not sure how, since they just seem to sell the same stuff as eBay, basically, with less eyes, but maybe you're the exception. You've just got those Mercari followers, and they're buying all of your stuff. You know, every time you put a Squish Tiger up on Mercari, somebody buys it. Every time, no waiting around. Or maybe you just like Poshmark better because all you're selling are clothing, and you're selling the kind of clothing that sells well on Poshmark, and maybe you've got a big social media following outside of Poshmark that might buy your Poshmark stuff, so that might be better for you. Or maybe Whatnot really is for you. Maybe you just like being able to go out and pick up any old toy or plush or whatever it is that seems remotely interesting that wouldn't work on eBay at all. You know, I don't have any examples in front of me. Well, yeah. I mean, you might have trouble selling little ducks like this on eBay by themselves unless you're Mountain Man Treasure, but you probably sell that duck on Whatnot. Maybe you just like doing that. You get all that stuff. You don't have to think about it too hard or what you pay for it, and you sell them all on Whatnot at $3 each, and it's all gone. Or maybe you're a one-item specialist, like you're into records, and you'd rather just sell to other record nerds on Discogs and not to the normal peons on eBay. Or maybe you're a card specialist, and really you just like to do TCG Player and Beckett Marketplace, where you don't even have to put photos of the stuff up. Maybe that's for you. Or maybe you're the unicorn. You're the one who's actually doing better on Facebook Marketplace than you are on eBay. I'm sure that person must be out there somewhere. Not sure where they are, but there's got to be at least one. And not counting people who sell cars or furniture either. I mean, things that you could ship. The second reason is the fact is that you could just make a lot more money with a real job, and overall you'd be happy in your life if you did so. I see a lot of people, you know, who want to get into reselling, and they have great jobs. They make $100K plus, or maybe the exact number doesn't matter, but they've got great benefits, gold-plated insurance, a ton of paid vacation, all of this. And I'm going to be honest, you need to be in the top 1% of solo resellers to make that sort of income. And there's no free benefits to be had as an eBay seller unless you do so poorly that you might get free government health care. And that's about it. There are very, very few of the eBay resellers that you're going to watch on YouTube, myself included, are clearing $100K a year in profit. It's extremely rare. A lot of them aren't even clearing 100K per year in sales, much less profit. All right, third reason. Did you start in the last few years? In that case, you probably started reselling during the pandemic boom. And now you get to see what a slow time is like. And it's just not good enough for you. The pandemic time was the reseller boom time. It was the best years of reselling ever. I know some people like the golden age of the late 90s eBay, where everything was auctioned and almost everything sold. And the fact is, if you just had photos of your items, you were in the top 10% of people. Those days were great, but the pandemic time was even better because I sold during both. People were stuck at home, a lot of which were stuck at home with more money than they'd ever had in their life. Many companies specifically cut their workers' hours just enough so they qualified for unemployment, so they got all that extra unemployment money. That was really common, and there's just stimulus checks and all of that, and a lot of people didn't need that money, and they spent it on, basically BS. They bought collectible ducks, and they bought Warhammer figures and Magic cards and Pokemon cards and graded video games and all sorts of other nonsense. Or maybe it's not nonsense. I don't want to knock it. I sell all that stuff myself. But those free money days are over. And now 2023, just a few years later, you're getting to see what a bad year is like. Consumer spending is way down on non-essentials. It just is. Everybody's complaining about poor sales because people aren't buying as much, and we still have most of those new resellers who cropped up during the pandemic hanging on at this point. So maybe the results of a year like this aren't good enough for you or your lifestyle, and that's just fine. You can go back to whatever you're doing before. It's okay. You don't have to stick to the reseller lifestyle just because you tried it out. There's no reason you have to do that. If you're better off just going back teaching third grade math again, maybe you should. Actually, I'm gonna bet most teachers actually make more money than most resellers do. People often say teachers are underpaid, but most teachers I know make a lot more money than I do. And the competition for teaching jobs is so fierce that the majority of the teachers that my daughter has had from preschool on have had master's degrees, because that's how fierce the competition is for those teaching jobs. All right, that's way off subject there, but fourth reason, maybe you don't have the personality or skills for it. Not everybody is self-motivated or organized. I mean, have you seen my desk? My desk looks like I'm not organized, but I'm actually organized in things that matter. All that stuff on the desk is just junk. None of it is of import, but maybe you're not self-motivated. Maybe you can't get the work done if the boss isn't there cracking the whip. Not everyone can spot deals. Not everyone can negotiate prices. Maybe you're just too nervous. If it says $5, you're too nervous to offer them 4 or 3 or 2 or even 1, depending on what you really need to offer them. Or maybe you just can't do the basic math in your head to figure out if a bulk deal is going to be worth it to you. Not everybody can handle their personal finances well enough to deal with an income that might swing 100%, 200%, 300% from one month to the next, because reseller income can swing that much. Sometimes not everyone can even manage to get the packages to the post office. Maybe that's just not for you, even though the idea of being a reseller is attractive to you, or you've tried it out, but maybe you just don't have the match of skills and personality to do it. And that's okay. Maybe there's something else you're great at. Maybe you were great at what you were doing before. That's just fine. Maybe you'd be better off if you went back to it. I'm not going to judge you for it. Okay. Number 5 reason is that reselling for you is a hobby. But now you have another hobby that you just like more. You were doing it for fun. Maybe you're trying to finance a specific thing, or maybe you just wanted to do a challenge. Maybe you wanted overtime to flip $1 into $10,000. And after 3 years, you did it. And now you're done. It's not fun to you anymore. Maybe now you want to go fishing. You want to play, go down to the game store, play with your Warhammer figures. Maybe you want to try to finally drop into a half pipe before you're 50 years old. Whatever. You want to go hiking. Get that boat, tune up that 1983 Honda motor scooter and somehow ride it across America. There's nothing wrong with any of that. You don't have to keep pursuing a hobby that you don't enjoy anymore. Move on with your life. Remember your reseller times is good, and maybe you'll be interested again. I know some hobbies I've left and come back to many times in my life. For me, reselling it's a job now, not a hobby, but if maybe someday it'll be a hobby instead of a job. I don't know. Number 6 reason, I think this is going to be a number 1 reason for a lot of people, is that you don't want to keep records or pay taxes. I'm going to be honest here. The overwhelming majority of people kept no records and paid no taxes on their eBay sales until they received a 1099 form. I'm not going to make any judgments against these people here. Now, the IRS may put a judgment on you eventually, but that's a little bit different there. I sort of got to skip the whole issue myself because I went directly from a couple $100 a year seller to a 20+ K year, and I just had no in between years. So I never really had to think about the issue. And to be honest, the IRS doesn't seem to want the small potatoes themselves, since they specifically turned around and changed their mind and had eBay not issue 1099s to the small potatoes last year, but they're supposed to issue them this coming year. And I've talked to countless people at garage sales and real life or whoever else who quit selling online for the very reason of taxes and the 1099 form. Hey, maybe you hate the government, you want to stick to the underground economy, and you don't want to support tax dollars in any way. Maybe the time taken to do the records isn't worth it for you. You know, maybe you would rather just rent a flea market booth every weekend, keep no records, pay no taxes, pretend like none of it ever happened, and you likely make less money in the end. But maybe that's what you want to do. Maybe you have a sizable disability and you actually get money for it. I don't. I get no disability money or government money of any kind. I have not taken a dime from the government since I lost this leg. But maybe you're in a different situation, and if you claimed your eBay income, that much larger income would go away. So maybe you should quit eBay if that's the case. I don't know there, but this is going to be a big one. I think you're going to see a lot of this next year when people finally, who've been selling for years and years, 20+ years, finally actually get that 1099 form in the mail. Because I think it's going to be the first time a lot of 20+ year eBay sellers have actually gotten that form will be next year. 7th reason you might want to quit selling on eBay is that your source dried up or your specialty went bad, and you're just not interested in changing your business into being something else. Maybe you live by the Goodwill bins that had full bags of plushes for $1, and that's all you sold, and they changed their rules and they no longer have that. I know Harry Tornado lives near the Goodwill bins that has huge bags of plushes for $1, or maybe it's $2, and my Goodwill bins doesn't do that. They charge plush by weight. Or maybe you live in the middle of nowhere, but Big Betty and Dreamy Dave, they've been bringing you stuff to sell for years. You have no idea where they get it or where it comes from, but they've been bringing you stuff for years, and your entire business is based on that. But then suddenly, one day, Big Betty and Dreamy Dave just skip town. You never see them again. Never hear from them. And suddenly, your source is gone, and you live in the middle of nowhere. You don't want to move, but you got no way to get eBay stuff anymore either. So just gonna quit. Maybe your honey hole went away. You know, maybe that pawn shop that closed down that was giving you all of something or another they didn't like to deal with that did well on eBay. Maybe they put a lock on that magic dumpster that was providing most of your business. Maybe the magic card market crashed. Or maybe you can't find Fugglers at the store anymore. You've been banned from your local Walmart, and you finally opened the other 10 pallets of Xbox games from the truckload you bought and found out that all of them are Madden 2003, and now you just want out of the whole thing. You don't want to change it up. You don't want to do anything different. You liked what you're doing, and now what you're doing doesn't work anymore, and you don't want to do it anymore. And that's fine, too. If all you liked was selling Fugglers and magic cards on eBay, and Fugglers and magic cards go bad, or the sources dry up, and you don't want to sell anything else, no one's making you do it. You live the life that you want to live. Don't live the life that I want you to live. Don't live the life that the guy down the street or particularly the guys behind the 7-Eleven want you to live. Live the life that you want to live. eighth and possible best reason that you should quit selling on eBay is that you realize that you can retire right now. So there's just no reason to sell on eBay anymore. Maybe your house is paid for. Your cars are paid for. You look at the numbers. Your income would be fine for the future if you stopped working right now. Particularly if you don't actually take your stuff down from eBay and let your existing inventory, sell through over a period of years. Usually it is a period of years too if you're not pumping anything, because like my card store is just in a sell-through mode. I no longer feed it anymore, other than the fact that I'm shuffling some things in and out of drafts because I actually have more card listings than my account level allows for without paying extra. And that account produces about $600 a month with me putting nothing into it other than shipping off the cards. So, and that's going to probably continue along for years. But as far as that account is, I'm pretty much retired from that account already. And I'm already sort of there on the whole income and situation thing, but it wouldn't be fair for my wife, to my wife if I retire right now. Well, she worked another 20 years, because right now with our paid off house, all vehicles paid off, there's no credit cards, there's nothing there. She's got a retirement account. I don't. But yeah, we would be fine if I didn't make another dime ever. That's not what we're going to do, but we would be fine if we did. All right, I think that's, bonus one, number 9. Reason to stop selling on eBay is because eBay bans you. eBay makes you stop selling on eBay. Not the best one, but I've seen plenty of YouTubers it's happened to. All right. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you got any friends or know any people who want to stop selling on eBay, why don't you point them this video? Let me know. I want to see them down in the comments. Hope to see you again soon.
I'm going to tell you how One Foot Flipper really got his name, One Foot Flipper. He won't tell you this because he used to be quite the daredevil. And we was down in the Gulf, and we was water skiing on this cigarette boat. And sure enough, here comes this dorsal fin. And being a huge fan of Happy Days, One Foot Flipper was, he said, "Hey, I'm going to do a 2-foot flip over this here shark. I'm going to jump the shark." And well, you can tell what happened.